Like and subscribe right now, or you're gonna have terrible luck for the next week. Every so often, we hear of some lucky guy happening across intriguing stuff, but once in a while, it's the creepiest or bizarre things that get unearthed. Hello and welcome, dear viewer, to yet another thrilling episode of 100M, where we'll look at the 10 creepy things found accidentally. Number 10. Bag of cash. Here's one you like. A man unearths a bag of cash in his garden. The Illinois man was just picking vegetables when he happened upon a nylon bag jutting out of the ground in his back garden. He dug it out to examine its contents, only to discover a jaw-dropping 113,000 pounds in clean bills packed neatly in the bag. I'm not sure what his initial reaction and thoughts were, but later he did turn it over to the authorities. He probably feared that the absurd amount in the bag proceeded from a robbery or some sort of crime. The creepy thing about this whole thing was whoever hid the bag there could have returned only to find the stash missing. Let's not get into what manner of punishing the culprit might have thought up. Surprisingly, however, the lucky gardener wasn't even concerned about that, so he asked the authorities if he could keep the money if no one claimed it in 2 weeks. It's unconfirmed as to whether or not the money was returned to him, but we like to think so for the sake of a good story. Number 9. Marijuana. While prepping a site for a solar installation project on his property in LA, a man stumbled upon a bag full of marijuana packaged in small packs and plastic jars. The man made the startling discovery when he opened an underground access vault during a site survey and inspection. What shocked him most was how the bag of drugs got there when the lock to the underground vault was intact and there were no signs of a break-in. He informed the authorities, who were able to investigate further into the matter. Not much information was made public, but they did report that the drugs were valued at $175,000 in the streets. Number 8. Rusty old cars. Alright, there's nothing creepy about a rusting old car, unless you find it at the bottom of a lake and discover dead bodies in them. 2 cars went missing in separate incidences, one in 1969 and another in 1970, but both cars were found at the bottom of Foss Lake in Oklahoma. Each car contained 3 dead bodies, which were all confirmed to have died from drowning. Interestingly, both cars went missing around the same place and same exact dates, but in different years. Investigations failed to find any evidence of foul play in both incidences, leading the authorities to rule them both as having been accidental. Some people believe that a higher power might have had a hand in the mysterious accidents at Foss Lake. Number 7. Whale fossil. One thing you don't expect to find in your backyard are the remains of an aquatic creature, but one schoolboy found a fossil of a 990-pound whale. The kid had just returned home from school when he discovered something sticking out of the ground in his front lawn. The curious boy asked some of his friends to help him dig the bony thing out of the ground. They used logs for levers and were able to carefully pull it out, but experts were unable to determine what creature the massive jaw and skull bones belonged to. The archived bones were later reviewed, and a final examination, 30 years later, determined them to be the fossilized remains of a 14 to 16 million year old baleen whale. It wasn't clear when or how the fossilized remains of an aquatic creature happened to be buried on land, unless that region was covered by the sea those millions of years ago. Number 6. Devilish Footage. This guy from the YouTube channel More Bad Ideas keeps finding cameras with the most horrifying footage in them. Some people feel like it's all staged. I mean, when was the last time you stumbled upon a toy camera, let alone a functional one like he did? Could be the grown-ups in his hood are clumsier than the kids in the neighborhood. All the same, the video he uploaded on July 2017 freaked his fans out. Literally. Apparently, the YouTuber and his friends were riding their bikes through the woods when they spotted a functional GoPro Hero 3, and the footage he saw from its storage was creepy. Satanic, actually. The abominable clips were so frightening that the YouTuber couldn't keep watching to the end, and the comments from his subscribers saying things like, "God protect me and my family," and "God protect everyone who watches this," made the whole thing super creepy and scarier. Number 5. Church bells. While gardening, a man from the Czech Republic saw some heavy metal objects peering from the ground in his backyard. When he couldn't get to the end of the objects digging with his shovel, he rang for an excavation team to help him dig up the strange objects. The the crew managed to unearth two 400-year-old church bells. What's interesting, really, if not creepy at all, is that the church bells were only recently reported to have been stolen from a nearby church. I mean, who steals from a place of worship? The bells were handed over to the authorities, who were able to have them returned to the church where they belonged. Number 4. Jesus? Now, forget about the church bells. A life-size statue of a crucified Christ was found at the bottom of Lake Michigan. The story of how the 11-foot white marble cross happened to find itself at the bottom of a lake isn't a popular tale, but it's an interesting account to narrate. Apparently, the crucifix was a 1956 Italy-made piece shipped to the US for a couple who had lost their 15-year-old son to a tragic accident. Sadly, the couple refused to accept it because it was damaged on its way from Italy. It was instead given to a diving society who lured it into the bottom of Lake Michigan as a memorial to the divers they lost to the waters. Number 3. Human remains. In 2014, what appeared to be human bones were discovered in the backyard of a home somewhere in the US. The dazed homeowner, who uncovered the remains from his backyard, was in the middle of a landscaping project when he made the startling discovery. At first, he couldn't make out what he had found for sure due to the poor state of the remains. He thought that the bones must have belonged to some animal or something like that. But after a forensic examination was conducted and the medical results were made available, the bones were determined to have belonged to a Native American dating back 1,000 years.
Now it's time for today's best pick.
And now in today's best pick, we have a picture sent to us by a subscriber just like you. Remember, if you find a picture online and you'd like to know more about it, you can always send it over to us. We'll be glad to do the digging for you, and who knows, we just might feature it in our next video. Number 2. The Ancient Devil. Lake Lebinkier is a pretty interesting lake and one of the most mysterious in the world. Its temperatures don't crest past 36 degrees Fahrenheit, but the waters barely ever freeze. Add that to the unsettling accounts of ghosts and devils reported to be haunting the lake, and you'll never wish to be within a mile of it. For a long time, the lake has been reported to be the home of a large monstrous creature which locals called the Ancient Devil. Apparently, the notorious devil was first reported in the 19th century and has been terrorizing the locals for quite a long time, until suddenly disappearing. The next time the locals heard mention of the Ancient Devil would be in 2013, when the first divers to ever reach the bed of the lake claimed to have found unknown remains of a large creature, which they believed to have been the jaw and skeleton remains of the notorious 19th century devil.
Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, and you will get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it really works.
Number 1. Cemetery. This has to be the creepiest thing anyone would find on their property. A man was renovating his home to set up a swimming pool in the backyard. While digging the hole for the pool, he hit one of 13 caskets from a 1700s cemetery. Astonishingly, the caskets from the historic cemetery all contained decaying human remains in them, all belonging to what was later determined to be one family. The family was quite startled at the bizarre discovery, and only then did they start to hear all manner of haunted house tales. I don't know about you, but that is enough to make me move house. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to smash the like icon and leave a comment. Your engagement is what keeps our curiosity going. We have lots of fantastic videos that you will enjoy. You can start by checking out the 2 already showing up on your screen right now. Keep it 100.